believe that because of the vast number of planets in the universe, life would exist on many of those planets, and the odds are some of those planets would have advanced intelligent life. But the discovery of advanced intelligent life on other planets may prove to be quite rare, if not downright improbable. Well, let me share with you why I believe this to be so. Well, first of all, for the sake of this discussion, let us imagine that we live in a natural universe where life originates naturally. In other words, a universe with no creator. Let's take a look now at the possibility that advanced intelligent life could exist on other planets using the natural universe model. Well, there are two schools of thought regarding the origin of life, and we'll use Earth as an example. The first one would be life originating from mere chemicals. The second one is life beginning by being transplanted from another planet. Well, let's first consider life originating from mere chemicals. The idea that life can originate from mere chemicals is extremely challenging, to say the least. The complexity of the human cell is absolutely mind-boggling. It practically takes a whole book just to understand its functionality. Just the DNA in one human cell is so complex that its origin cannot be explained. Now, some want to believe that DNA was created by some kind of unexplainable chemical evolution. Others laughably claim DNA was created by random chance. To emphasize how complex the cell is, in recent years, biologists have discovered that just the cell wall, the outer layer of the cell, is far more complex than anyone could have ever imagined. Well, now let's consider life being transplanted from another planet. Because the cell, the simplest form of life, is so complex, this compels some scientists to suggest that life had to be transplanted here by beings from another planet. What we must first realize is that the planet doing the transplanting would have to originate life of its own and evolve beings capable of interstellar space travel. These beings would have to initiate a highly ambitious program of traveling throughout the galaxy, transplanting cells on other planets in the hope that these cells would survive as well as evolve. But if most habitable planets need to have life planted on them, then the number of planets with any kind of life on them would likely be exceedingly small. Now, this also begs the question, if a planet such as Earth is so incredibly suited for life, from the very simple to the very complex, then what prevents life from originating there in the first place? Some say that a planet, in order to have complex life on it, does not necessarily need to meet the same conditions as Earth. Indeed, some claim that all you need for complex life to be sustained on a planet is for it to have liquid water. Some people say you don't even need that. But if a planet does not need to meet either most or any of the conditions that we find on Earth, then that would very likely make evolution conditional. In fact, evolution may be the exception rather than the rule. It may even be specific only to those planets that pretty much match the same conditions that make complex life on Earth possible. And if complex life does need to meet conditions very similar to Earth in order to survive, then this presents a whole new set of hurdles besides just the need for liquid water. looking at planet Earth, we have a planet that couldn't be more ideal for complex life. Well, Earth experienced the Cambrian explosion about 530 million years ago, which is actually very recent when considering geological and evolution timescales. Now, if it were not for the Cambrian explosion, animal life today would almost certainly be nothing more than just simple organisms swimming around in the oceans. So, if evolution is true, and Earth is a model planet for the evolution of complex life, then it stands to reason that other planets would need to experience something very similar to the Cambrian explosion to have complex life evolve on them. Well, what are the chances of advanced intelligent life evolving on other planets? If we consider the evolutionary track record of Earth, the prospects don't look too good. After billions of years and millions of animal species, Earth has managed to produce only one advanced intelligent species, man. By evolution's own standards, an advanced intelligent being such as man is an evolutionary anomaly. Here's another consideration when dealing with evolution. It seems that it is generally assumed that if a planet has animal life on it, then it will also have plant life on it. But this may not be the case. The real problem lies with the fact that animals could not survive without plant life. You see, if the only food source for animals is each other, it wouldn't take long before they would eat themselves right out of existence. Well, life on a planet would also need to survive the threat of extinction from numerous natural and unnatural events, things such as collisions with comets, asteroids, and other large objects, the reversal of magnetic poles, maybe the atmosphere being swept away by solar winds, or extreme changes in temperature, just to name a few. And not to mention possible global disasters caused by beings inhabiting the planet. Now, I've given you just a few of the many criteria any planet would need to meet in order for advanced intelligent life to exist on it. This is why finding extraterrestrial intelligence elsewhere in the universe might not be as likely as one might imagine. And before I conclude, let me just say this about those who believe we live in a natural universe. If one claims that because of the vast number of planets in the universe, the odds are there must be life on some of those planets, then one must also accept the virtually impossible odds that a universe could be so precisely fine-tuned as to be able to support that life. Otherwise, the prevailing assumption would be that life could exist in a universe of indeterminate physical laws. This would be completely contrary to the scientific conclusion that life is dependent upon certain physical laws. Is it any wonder why we have never made contact with other beings, or why we have never had a close encounter of the third kind, or why Jedi Knights are just
stuff that dreams are made of?
What he said. We have no proof that life does actually exist anywhere else in the universe. So for now at least, E.T. will just have to remain science fiction.